All right, let's dig deeper. Jimmy, let's bring it back up forward. Dyke. Yes, Johnny and the gang, Richie. We're going to continue our conversation with Ford Dyke, and we're going to get into the science of performance engineering. And Richie, Ford, research shows that the brain makes decisions 7 seconds before you're conscious of them. Now, Dr. Ford's about to show us how to engineer that critical window for peak performance. Now, Ford, your research focuses on what you call the human experience. Break down what happens in those crucial moments between stimulus and response. And when you work with your elite athletes, how do elite performers engineer that gap for Dyke?
It starts with awareness, Keith. If you don't have awareness, then there is no gap for you. And what I mean by that is if you're not aware of that space and time, then it feels and looks that it just blurs. It just falls from one space to the next. There is no segment. But as you start to build more awareness in your life of how do I feel internally? What does the environment feel like externally? How do those two things either align or disalign? How do I feel cognitively? How do I feel emotionally? How are all my systems running? Are they optimized, or do I feel lethargic? Do I feel sluggish? Do I feel irritable? Do I feel that my hydration isn't optimizing? Can I sleep well or not sleep well? All the systems that are built in place inform you about what you need and when you need it. So the timing behind it as well. But until you sit quietly, you're not going to be aware of any of it. Once you are aware of it, though, you can't go back. Once you start to build awareness, you'll never go back. You'll constantly want to grow and evolve and build more and more. And then the more you have, it's like dials on an equalizer. You're in more control.
I was just saying that when we opened up. I was just saying how, look, once you really get yourself dialed in, I was speaking in the morning specifically, that you can't unsee it. Once you get there, boom, you see something, you can't unsee it, you can't unring that bell. You just want to go back.
That's right.
Yeah.
So what's the practice? So we know sit quietly, but then okay, how would I go about starting that to get to that awareness? What's the mental process that I would go through?
Great
Yeah, it's a good question, Rich. So a lot of the times when I start to interface with performers, I don't like to label them as athletes or like to label them as military installation, just performers in general. And if you break that further down, they're human beings. So it could be a CEO at a high level platform, could be an attorney, hell, it could be a woman at a nursing home. And I've worked with elderly individuals as well. It could be children at K-12, human beings, right?
Yeah.
When you start to work with human beings, if you allow them the space and time to just be, see that little space and time right there?
Oh, I love it, man. I got goosebumps.
That was
That
perfect.
right there, that's where you start to feel. And once you start to feel, you never forget. You're always going to forget what someone told you. But when you start to have these visceral responses from the inside, now it gets more informative. And now your mind will start to open and the thoughts will start to go. And if you're able to just watch those thoughts like they're passing clouds in the sky, you can now decide what's serving me, what's not serving me, and which one of those do I want to put more attention into. It's an obvious answer for most. However, some people decide years and years go by to continue to put energy and effort towards things that disserve them.
Yeah.
It happens, but you still are at the driver's wheel. You still can decide, does this vehicle want to go forward? Does it want to go backwards? Do I need to take a left? Do I need to take a right? Do I need to speed up, slow down? Do I need to put that thing in park, throw the e-brake on, turn that shit off, and put it in storage for a few months and just let myself rest and digest on a retreat? It's an informative practice, but it's not anything complex. It's actually super simple, Rich, but that doesn't mean it's easy. It's one of the most
Right.
challenging things you can try.
Yeah, let me jump on that right there, brother, because for me, I totally know what you're talking about, that place. But I basically I have to count my way into that space. And so, Rich, this might work for you, brother. This is what I do every goddamn morning. Sometimes I'll get there by 25, sometimes it's 125, but I sit in my chair. I got a certain place I sit, and I first breath is in, it's 1. Second breath is out, it's 2. And I just keep breathing. And it's because what I'm doing is I'm trying to all the shit that's swirling in my head and all the fucking life and everything that's in the way, I'm trying to slow it down enough that I can get to that space. And so if I really need to, I'll actually picture the number so I can actually just focus on one thing. And then pretty soon I start fucking hearing like these little bitty fucking sounds in the house that I wasn't aware of before. And next thing I can actually hear my fucking breath. And then if I start to hear my pulse. Now all of a sudden I'm in this different place where I'm feeling that I wasn't before I counted my way into that space. The other morning I had to go to 133 to get there. And other mornings it might be 33, might be 50. It's just I go in with the idea that I'm just going to slowly count. And the other thing too, my counting slows way the fuck down as I get deeper in. I might start off with a 1, 2, 3. By the time I get into the 70s, I might be like 71, 72. And next thing, all of a sudden, I'm becoming aware. And so try to count your way in. That's what works for me.
Oh, I love that. Richie.
Yeah. What's up?
I said, no, you comment on that or you're good. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So my thing is, since I use the Calm app, it's always, there's always an instruction, right? And
Yes.
it's not that I don't like that, because it does make sure that I do it. It keeps me on point. To what you guys are saying, I would like to, whether it's a body scan or whatever, but when it's instructed in the Calm app, hey, all right, now move here. Now move, hold on, I'm not done here. And then I move here. So that's perfect. This man, you just got to take the time out and focus where the focus needs to be. You don't always need somebody else telling you, like, hey, now look at this.
Yeah.
So I need to focus more on that.
It's interesting, Johnny, to hear you say you had to count to 130, because as I've gotten close to my
33,
as I've gotten to know my friends here, Richie and Johnny and Marty and Ford, I'm looking at you and talking about John. I can tell that he had to count to 130 this week. One day 133, and I don't mean that in a negative way, Johnny.
No, man. I was whenever the first day I got back to this house, I was fucking tracking slow, baby. It wasn't my internet, but it might as well have been.
Yeah, but I could absolutely tell. But I think it's a positive thing, because the people around you, if you have that awareness, you could, like, I knew something was a little off with Johnny, right? And Richie, the thing that I would probably laugh with Johnny about is that we know Johnny is like, Ford, you're a coffee connoisseur. John Anderson is a bidet connoisseur.
Oh, I love it.
I got to think that he spends time on the bidet, like just finding that gap in the space, because Johnny's got these exceptional deep cheeks, right? So when he's on the bidet, he's using the bidet to surface the deep cheeks, and he creates that gap in space for himself there. You know exactly.
And even what I do, it's even a little better. I don't know if I ever mentioned this, but when I'm on the toilet, that's my time where I read. Because
in the office. You're in the office.
Yeah, because I'm in that bathroom, and most people sit down and they're on their fucking phones. And what are you doing? All you're doing is promoting more of this shit. If I go straight, take a piss right out of the gate, I'm probably going to have to sit down, take a dump in the next few minutes. I'm still, from the moment I get up, I'm trying to find that center. I'm trying to find that spot. So I don't look at my phone, because all that does is speed shit up, man. I'll start my count and I'll be fucking 1, 2, 3, 4. But if I don't look at my phone and I'm taking a nice dump, and crazy enough, I get into it, I start reading, I'll take a better dump. I'm slowing it down. So when I go to sit, I'm that much closer where I'll be. And then the bidet gives me such a nice cleanup experience. I don't get rattled getting ready to.
Man, I don't see how you guys read when you're taking a dump. Like, a lot of times I don't take anything into the toilet, because, like, when I gotta go, it's like, oh fuck, I go in and it's boom. Sometimes it's quicker than a piss, and then I'm out.
Yeah,
you know.
But see that I could be that way too. But I'm gonna get 3. So the question is, am I gonna dump one off, clean myself up, go do something, come back a few minutes later, or am I just gonna sit there and chill and absorb some knowledge? And some quiet time and wait for all 3.
Push.
Yeah. And you can't force it. It's coming when it wants to come.
Yeah.
The first one, like you, sometimes I'm buckled down. I got the fucking cutter tightened up to get to the toilet.
Because I can't tell you how many runs, like, I got my shorts on and it's touching cotton, dude. And if I don't make it to the bathroom, like, if you're out walking in Austin, Texas, That light in the bush is probably Rich Ingram because I couldn't make it to the
Dude white.
every
That's a
fucking
dude white.
morning, man. Every morning.
That's
Oh,
right.
brother, I get it, man. You get those things there. It's like that thing's starting to peak. It's starting to. You got to be careful because when you push your pants down and you fold over, that little bit of pressure.
Oh yeah.
It just might. You may not be sitting down.
God,
You better be on
hilarious,
track with
man.
sitting down because you're gonna have a loaf sitting on the back of the toilet.
So you can see, Ford, our morning show has turned on a new form of morning conversation for men and humans to get themselves going here. But Ford, as we wrap up our segment, and brother, you got to come back. You absolutely have to come back and hang out
All
with us.
in, man. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I want you to give a practical bit of advice for Business Athlete Nation before we walk you out the door here. You've mentioned through your research, through your posts, through your content, that people track wrong metrics. What data points actually predict breakthrough performance, and what should we measure for Dyke that we're not?
Super simple, and you're never going to forget it. HUMAN, hydrate, measure your hydration. Unplug, measure how much time that you're resting. Move, measure your sedentary versus your active behavior. Aspire, how much time are you setting intentions and goals in your life to move forward, to progress? And N is nourish. What are you putting in your body? And like John and Rich just explained, it's not always about intake. What's coming out of your body as well? Pay close attention to the backside because that's informative as well.
Yes.
Awesome. Ford
sir.
Dyke joining us from Alabama,
Thank you, Ford.
performance coach with us. Ford, where can Business Athlete Nation find you?
FordDyke.com, FORDDYKE.com. Super simple.
Awesome. You're going to come back, hang out with us again. We'll talk pickleball next time too, maybe?
Yeah, man, let's do it. Just not at 5:30 in the morning, but I'm just fucking with you. I'm good.
I know you are. Ford Dyke, one of the OGs here for Mornings in the Lab with Keith and Friends. I'm a huge fan of yours, Ford. You come back, hang out with us again. I know Richie and Johnny would love to have you back as well.